Okay, off to the first destination for today. It's gonna be a busy day. Oh, gotta put my multilingual head on today as well. Yeah, there's tons of markets and restaurants around this area here usually. And I thought I would only see cars like that on the fair. Alright, I believe this is it. Looks like it's in the middle of an industrial area too. That was sort of crazy, but I got some time in the day now. Actually, after that session, it made me wonder if I should spend some time learning things like Mandarin. Funny enough, even around here now, whenever people see me, they automatically talk in Mandarin in many cases. Actually, for things like Mandarin, I was actually interested in using a site called Duolingo before because I heard it was really good, but for some reason they still don't have a lot of Chinese languages like the Mandarin for whatever reason. I guess it's just harder for people to translate everything since that is, to my knowledge, like open source and it relies on volunteers. I don't know, maybe I will. It just comes down to the schedules and stuff since everything's usually so random. I did read an interesting article about drones and rich people today, which kind of made me think about the comments that a lot of you guys posted because it kind of relates in many ways. But for the update for the Mavic Pro, I haven't gotten a follow-up for the DJI support, but so still waiting. But for some of the questions wondering like, do I have things like the DJI Care? I personally did not buy the DJI Care because my personal perception of that was more, if people want the DJI Care, that's for people that want to fly it with ease, like an ease of mind in the sense of they can crash it and hey, don't worry, they'll cover it. You can drop it in the water and hey, don't worry. But for me, I intended to fly it very cautiously, so I didn't see the need to buy it personally. Like to me personally, it comes across more as kind of like those warranties they sell people that buy video games like on a disc or whatever, saying, hey, you pay $5 or $10 or whatever and you can scratch that disc like crazy and come back and we'll give you a new one. Like for me, okay, I'm not gonna scratch it like crazy or anything like that, so I didn't really see a need to get things like that. I mean, even from reading some of your guys' comments saying you guys do have DJI Care and you sent yours in back like within 3 months and you experienced the exact same problem, again, it makes me curious, what is wrong with the gimbal? That's kind of what I would like to know specifically. I mean, in one sense, it's bad to hear that so many people are having the exact same problem, but at the same time, I guess it's kind of good to know I'm not the only one, because considering like, hey, well, I flew like normal and everything like that, why is it like that? Did I do something wrong? But if this many people have that many problems, it makes me wonder what's the big problem in the bigger picture. Everybody's picking the berries, it seems like. Because it made me think too, I mean, if the minimum warranty, for example, for that gimbal is like say 6 months, would people be still inclined to purchase like the Mavic Pro, for example, if they clearly said like right in the front, only 6 months warranty? Like even for me, it would make me a little hesitant, like why do you only believe your product can last for 6 months before it'll start going sour? I mean, again, for me, I understand for things like propellers, okay, I can see like that shouldn't be covered for like a year. That would be a little ludicrous. But for things like the camera that's actually built in, like to the actual Mavic, it's not like I can like do it myself, like replace the camera. It's a little different. It's kind of like the main feature of the product. So with all that in mind, in terms of, I guess, buying things like DJI Care, spending money on a drone, that's why this article kind of got my attention today. The title of it said, "Rich People's Problems. Help, I've lost my drone." Now, to my understanding, what this guy was trying to say, he's trying to say like drones in general, like I guess consumer drones are useless stuff. It's basically something to have like a gadget in your arsenal, but other than that, it's completely like, you know, it's stupid. It's just for fun, like for the most part. I mean, it says here, of course, consumer drones aren't useful at all, but if you like gadgets, they are a must-have addition to your arsenal of unnecessary stuff, like a drum kit, which my other third says was a useful gift. Brilliant gift, yes, but useful? I don't think so. The first thing that this kind of made me think about is because like with the things like the education of drones to the general public and the title of this article and how this guy kind of perceives drones, it makes me wonder, is one of the reasons for the apprehensions for a drone is because people assume if you fly a drone that you're quote rich, like you have so much expendable income, so in that sense they're really apprehensive about that, like kind of equivalent I guess to seeing some guy driving a really expensive car on the road. Like that I can see like most people say, oh, Mr. Fancy Pants with your big car. So it makes me wonder, like in terms of flying drones and some people in the public who have an apprehension towards it, whether or not that is a reason for it, because they assume assume people that fly the drones is, oh, you're this rich snob flying, you're like high-tech gadget, get out of here. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but for me, I mean, I don't have expendable income to spend like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars just to throw them away like they're nothing. I mean, for me, it's just about a different type of lifestyle choice in terms of things like finances. Like, for example, some people may argue for things like, you know, I play things like video games, for example, and other high-tech stuff. You could argue, wow, that's like, you know, $60 each, holy cow. But then if you think about it, like for me personally, I don't go, for example, buying a coffee at Starbucks every single day, which some people drop like what, maybe $6 each day or something like that, or even more, like just dining out. Like, I don't do that, and you add that up, that equals to almost the same thing, if not more, than the way I spend it. At the same time, in terms of like drones and stuff, like for me personally, I like to buy things that have a longer term investment. I mean, while some people like spending maybe $100, $200 in 2 hours drinking like a bunch of alcohol, I'd rather spend that money on something like the drone, because I find it has more of a long-lasting value, because I want to capture stuff for the long-term memory and of my trips and all that. I mean, some funny things to think about for myself, like for example, when I bought the Mavic Pro, I was only flying with one battery for the longest time. There were some of you saying, oh, you feel so bad. Here you are flying with like so many, like I don't know, 3 to 5 batteries, and here I am flying with one. I didn't get the second one until I got all those free DJI credits, and that's when I decided to get another one. So like, again, like for there, it's not like me just spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, hey, yeah, whatever. I mean, for me, it's budgeting still, it's financing just like everyone else. Or at the same time, how long ago did I lose my sunglasses? I still haven't even got my new one yet. I mean, the same thing there. I'm trying to look out for like a good deal and everything like that, because I just don't want to blow my money just like that. So that is far beyond having like, hey, rich guy's problem. I mean, when it comes to things like, even back to like the DJI for things like the warranty and stuff like that, I mean, for people like myself, when I buy something at that price range, I expect like, you know, quality. I expect it to last quite a while. So if there are people who are apprehensive of things like the drone just because they think it's like a rich man's toy, so the people that are flying are just spoiled little brats kind of thing, I mean, think again, there's a lot of different variety of people with different backgrounds who have different financial situations who buy a drone for their own reason. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone's like a millionaire, for example, where they can crash and say, oh, let's buy a new one, like just like that. That comment about the useless drum kit was kind of interesting, like to compare that with the drones, because even with a drum kit, like maybe it's just like life experience or perception, but I can even see for things like a drum kit, I mean, you can make music out of it. Aren't there people in life when they're stressed, for example, they make music which makes them happy and more productive? So I wouldn't, like, you know, just say it's useless. Same thing with a drone. I mean, people could have things like making a movie or something like that with a drone footage, and it could make people just as happy as well. Although funny enough, in the article, the guy was talking about how frustrated he was with drones and how they're so complicated and they're hard to use, and then apparently he bought a Mavic Pro and then his perspective changed. For me anyways, the Mavic Pro was my first entry into the drone world. I mean, again, hopefully they find a solution for whatever the issue is, because I'm still really interested to find out what it is, because if this many people, again, are having that many issues, then there has to be something to it. I think it's been a while since I saw these guys, huh? Do you prefer animals in the wild like this, or like the ones you saw in the fair? I actually might go back there next week, because there was an event that I missed which I thought would actually be really interesting, because it's supposed to happen every night or so. Anyways, see you guys later.